Spent the last 12 hours producing Christian rock. Oh my God, bro. That's not good. That's not good.
They're getting paid, bro.
I mean, I would assume he is. That's one of the things that I forget about is like being a producer or being like an audio engineer producer kind of guy. You probably have to produce a lot of stuff that you think is like total fucking cringe.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this guy. It was like on the YouTube Shorts thing, but it was definitely taken from a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, this guy paid me $250 an hour to produce him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just him recording his face. And this dude was just like, he's like, all right, we're good to go, man. Guy starts rapping. He's like, I'm a fucking beast. And the guy's just like trying to hold back a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much of that is part of that job. You know what I mean? Like people, like you have a studio and people come in and like really what they need is somebody to tell them like, you don't have talent.
Yeah.
This is never going to work for you. But you know what I mean? That's not your job. Your job is to do what they want you to do.
So you money too. Like as cringy as it is, it's still money in the bank.
Yeah. Anger Pupper says it's 80% of people. 80% of the work that he does is for cringe lords that don't have any fucking talent. Man, that's gotta suck. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you get to do what you like, and that 20%, you get to discover some really good artists and stuff, you know. And you might end up producing on an artist that blows up big, and that's a good thing. But man, Christian rock, I can't even imagine that shit, bro.
If it was gospel, it'd be more tolerable.
True. A little bit of gospel never hurt nobody.
Creative job isn't guaranteed to be an interesting one.
It's true. Yeah. You know, I think in my mind, I always had this idea. I think one movie that disabused me of the idea was Boogie Nights. Remember in Boogie Nights when like their careers are going down and he and fucking Chest Rockwell or whatever decide they're going to be a band.
Yeah.
They go in to get their shit produced and can't pay for it and the guy won't give it to them. They're like, man, we got a meeting right now with a record company, man. This is gonna be huge. He's like, that sounds like a YP, not an MP. Your problem. You pay the money, I give you the tapes. That's the way it works. How are we supposed to get the money for the tapes if we don't get a recording contract? I love that shit. You might own the tape, but the magic that's on that tape, man, nobody fucking owns that, man. I love that shit. What do you think of DC Comics officially making Robin a part of LGBTQ plus? Long time coming.
It's like the fourth Robin or something.
Yeah, it's not even the original Robin, but let's be real and let's be frank about this. Robin has been a gay sub to Batman since the beginning. They need to go all the way, in my opinion. Fuck making Robin just gay. Make him gay with Batman. Mm-hmm. Boom. Boom.
But Paul, fucking, if Batman going down is unheroic, then what does being gay mean?
Oh my God. Yeah, good point. Batman is a playboy millionaire. Even more reason to make him at least bi. Aquaman's coming out next. Yeah, a long time coming on that one too. No, I really don't care. This type of stuff is very meaningful to some people, and I guess I can understand why. But it just seems very virtue signaling when somebody takes an established character and they're like, "Oh, guess what? He's gay." It's just like, why don't you write an interesting character from the beginning? Create a new character from the start that's gay, that's interesting, and that has that as a central part of their personality. Why has it always got to be you gay up somebody that was never gay in the past? You know what I mean? That just, to me, that comes off. It doesn't matter. Once again, like I said, it's not like it ruins or makes the comic one way or the other. But
It just seems easier to establish it from the start, do you think?
well, maybe not easier. I think that like taking a character that's already established and tweaking something about their personality is the easy way. Creating a brand new, interesting character from scratch with a storyline that people like, and incidentally, that person, a part of their storyline is they're gay. That's hard. And that's what I would like to see more of. It doesn't really do me much good when they take a character and they're like, "Oh, by the way, this character's gay." It's like, all right,
The worst
well.
one of those was like J.K. Rowling saying Dumbledore was gay. When
Yeah.
It was not a sign of the fucking world other than that he didn't have a girlfriend or wife.
Right. I mean, I don't know, dude. That it's just another good example of it. But it is what it is. It's not like being gay is like it informs your entire personality. So I guess I can roll with like Dumbledore was gay and it just never came up. Whatever. But
He's a wizard, though. Why are people acting like Robin's a child and that him and Batman together would be pedophilia?
because I think when Batman first like adopted Robin, he was like a 16-year-old circus performer or some shit.
Yeah.
And so people are going,
That happened ages ago.
yeah, that was like in 1950 or some shit. Robin's like 70 years old now. It's okay. They can fuck. Aren't all the Robins Batman's adopted sons? I don't know. I never really understood that. I know that one of them he ended up adopting because once again, like Robin was a circus performer and his family was killed by somebody and he became a vigilante and then he ended up running into Batman and Batman ended up taking him under his wing. I don't know if you call that a father-son fucking thing. That's more like a mentor-student kind of relationship. Like, I don't know. Let me just put it that way. When it comes to DC Comics, I'm telling you the very bare bones basic shit because I never read DC all that much.
Again, there's like 4 different Robins. You can just make a different Robin that's older.
Well, that's what they've done here. The current Robin is gay. Okay. Well, was he gay at the beginning? Was he written with the idea to make him gay, or is he just gay because inclusivity? When a rich guy turns out a 4-long chain of the same sidekick, I think it does get a little sus. Like, how much must it have sucked to be the second Robin, constantly compared negatively to Dick? I mean, whatever. Probably doesn't suck at all to be the second, third, or fourth Robin. You get to be a fucking superhero, man. Who cares?
One of the Robins died, anyways.
The first Robin
Yeah.
is dead. I think 2 of the Robins are dead, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong. It's just like, there's a lot of superheroes that are based around that, like, there's always a superhero in this suit type of thing. Like, the Green Lantern is one of those, right? I'm pretty sure. Green Lantern is one of a bunch of different Green Lanterns. Like, there's, like, Green Lanterns all over the universe type of thing. Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man has been different people.
Yeah.
So there was the original Spider-Man, and then there's the Miles Morales Spider-Man, right? Yeah. And then there's the whole Spider-Verse, where there's a bunch of different Spider-Men from different Yeah, so it's just like, you know, that doesn't bother me. The fact that, you know, Robin dies and then another person gets made into Robin.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'd assume someone would aspire to that. They're out together fighting crime, and then Robin's dead. And it's like, I want to be a Robin too. Like,
Yeah. Like if I was like a twink that could do backflips and drive motorcycles really fast and shit, and I heard through the grapevine that Robin died, I'd be like, job opening.
you okay?
OD. Being Batman adjacent is pretty bad for your health. It would seem that way, yes, right? It would seem that way. But that's pretty, I mean, like, par for the course in my book, right? If I joined Batman, I would pretty much assume that there's a good chance I croak at some point. Batman does some dangerous ass shit, you know? Gotta show everybody that shit. It's fucking tires being dumped over there. Just making sure that guy wasn't doing that. Dude, there's like a little side gate over to our property. And somebody just has been like dumping old tires there. Right on the street. Like right on our property, right next to the street. There's just like probably like 7 old tires that have just been left there. Somebody left a fucking rim over here. It's like, who's doing this? Who's like running up on my property and throwing fucking old tires by the road? Yeah. This seems like a good spot for something I don't want to take the fucking time to get rid of. Bloop.
It's not like this back porch doesn't look lived in.
I don't know. Even if it wasn't, like, who drives by somebody's property? Like, when you have tires, there's a specific place. I don't know where it is. I think you take it to a tire shop. And they'll, like, fucking take it and send it back to the factory so they can be recycled or whatever. You don't just dump them in the middle of a goddamn fucking person's property. Dump them on your property, you fuck. Yeah, the penalty for doing that should be that the fucking area, you know, fucking seizes part of their land and uses it as a fucking tire dump. What is that shit, though? Why, like, right in front of my gate, too? Like, not down by the end of my property. Not, like, you know, around back of my property where it wouldn't be easy to see all the tires and shit. Just literally right in front of the gate that you would use to drive into my backyard. There's just tires piled up. And that weren't there when we got here. It's like, whose fucking shit is this? It makes me want to get cameras and a gun. I was telling Amelia that shit earlier. It makes me want to be the paranoid motherfucker that I've always been and just get a bunch of post cameras and put them all over my property with motion alarms and shit so that I can sit and watch the screens like I'm fucking Scarface. And when I see somebody dumping a fucking thing, grab my gun, run out there and tell them to not only grab the one they just dumped, but load up the rest of them too. It's just like, is that what you have to do to make sure that somebody doesn't fuck you off? Put cameras all over your shit?
It just makes so little sense.
It's like, who does that? Who's fucking, like, who? I would never even have that as a thought. That would never even come up in my mind. Like, I've got 5 or 6 old tires I need to get rid of. Let me go dump them on somebody else's property at night. Whose fucking idea is that? Who even thinks that and then let alone thinks it and then carries it out? Oh, yeah.
And you got trash and shit all over.
I mean, that's just the kids that fucking ride their shit up and down here, fucking throwing trash when they roll and shit. Like, that I understand. But, like, the fucking tires, like, those things are just like, they're literal, like, special waste. They're like oil. You can't just dump them. You've got to get rid of them. There's a certain way to get rid of fucking tires, and it doesn't involve just dumping them on somebody's property.
They're like a fire hazard too, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Dude, a tire fire will burn for fucking a year. Like, literally, a pile of tires that gets lit on fire will burn for like a year straight. That's why they're supposed to be disposed of or recycled in a certain fucking way. And these motherfuckers have just got old ass fucking, and they're weird tires too. I could probably use the type of tire they are. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should engage the fucking cops and give them something to do. Because you know what? Those types of they're not like just normal car tires. They're like weird fucking recreational vehicle tires. I'll show you guys. Fuck this shit. Look at this pile of tires that is built up. I'm going to show you guys this motherfucking shit. You guys tell me if I should call the piggy pies. Because I've got a feeling that, like, some of these tires could probably be identifiable. Look at this shit. They're not even bad tires either. Look at this. That one's busted. You can tell that one needed to be thrown away. These over here are busted. Look at this. Yeah, just throw these tires over here by my shit. Look at all of it. Bike tire, this, whatever the fuck that is. This over here, a big slick tire. Like, whose fucking idea was this?
You gotta go get your new tire at some point.
My new tire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My new tire. Yeah.
You can bring them there.
Yeah, if I wanted to load up a bunch of dirty-ass tires in my car, you know what I would have to do? Call my fucking parents and have them borrow their truck. Like, drive all the way down there, borrow their truck, drive all the way back here, load up the fucking tires, blah, 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 blah. Whose fucking idea was that? Let's pile a bunch of old-ass fucking tires on my property. Anyway. Whatever. The variety makes me think they're a shop that is fixing replacements. Well, why are they dumping their shit on my property? Why are they driving it all the way out here in the middle of nowhere where there's no shop and dumping it?
We're like 2 miles at least from the nearest thing that would do that, not more.
Sick of dealing with people, man. 110%. People make me so fucking paranoid and shitty. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Maybe somebody threw a couple of them down there, and then somebody else saw, oh yeah, they got a tire dump here. And they threw a couple on there. It might be like multiple people in the fucking neighborhood doing it. Yeah, this is just reason number 9,000 why I want to be done with people, why I want to be away from people. I want to be in a place where, like, it's not routine for people to be in my fucking space, to come to my house, ask me questions, approach me about anything. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with this type of shit. Like other people's trash, other people's bullshit, other people's garbage as they drive by. Oh, let's just throw it over here. I don't want it. I don't want to be near these fucking people. I want to be gone from them. I want them to be so far from me that there's never a fucking reason for anybody to come to my property, ever. No matter what I'm doing. The only people that come to my property are the people that I invite to my fucking property, and they got to come through a fucking gate. That's my dream, dude. I want a fucking property that is gated, completely gated off from the outside world, and in order to get onto the actual property, you've got to have a code, you've got to fucking call me and get buzzed in. That's it. You're a salesperson, you're somebody from the fucking neighborhood. I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Leave me the fuck alone. But to be quite frank with you, I want to be out far enough where that's not even an issue. Where the issue of somebody just stopping by to say, hey, hey. No bullshit, no fucking, just nothing. Yeah, just put smile, you're on fucking CCTV signs everywhere with fake cameras around. I don't know what else to do. It's just like East Oregon. Yeah. Possibly, you know, like looking at the inland parts of these states. The problem with the Pacific Northwest now is that they have got a cyclical fucking heat bubble that's going to come back every summer now. Like, that's something that I read about this fucking heat dome or whatever. It's not just a fluke this year that's going to blow off and next year it won't be here. This is the new paradigm up there. These heat domes are going to build over the Pacific Northwest and the North and create these abjectly fucking insane 100+ degree temperatures and shit. I don't want to live in Oregon if it's going to be 100 fucking degrees all summer. I can live here and get that. Yeah, close to 100 degrees in Tacoma.
Yeah. At least where we're at is mostly designed for that.
I mean, when I was a kid growing up in this area, you would get like 5 or 6 over 100 degree days, and they would be spread out over the fucking summer. Now you get nothing but.
Yeah, it's
100, 100, 101, 102, 104, 106, 105, 102, 104, 106, 105, 102, 104, 106. All for 3 straight months. So it's even gotten worse here, but you're right about the one fact. This place is at the very least used to having that type of heat. It's not super humid, so as fucking tried as it sounds, it's a dry heat, so it's more, you know, you can mitigate it easier. But, you know, if I'm going to live in a hot-ass fucking place, I want to live in a place that knows what it's like to be hot.
Like Arizona?
Yeah, I've lived in Arizona. It was fine. Absolutely fucking fine. I just don't know, like, what kind of land you can get in Arizona and how cheap it is and how expensive it is. And does Arizona legal weed now? I think they do.
Oh,
I'm
it's been a while since
I'm 99% sure Arizona has legal rec now, but I may be wrong. In the meantime, you can use an old smartphone as a camera. No, I don't really care. No, I would not live in Utah.
Yes.
Land is cheap in Arizona, but it's all rocks. I'm not looking to cultivate it. I'm looking to have a piece of land to put me away from other fucking people.
So yeah, Arizona is legal. I don't know what the dispensary situation is.
I'm sure it's fine. No daylight savings time in Arizona, yeah. So, I just don't know, man. I just feel very misanthropic today.
Oh wait, no, it's in the list that says operational dispensaries. There's like others that don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Montana too, but they haven't set up any infrastructure yet.
Yeah, and Montana is just, I don't know. It's beautiful there, but I don't know if I'd want to fucking live in Montana. It'd be one thing. I don't know. Montana is kind of like a wild card for me. It just depends on how they handle some of the legal rec shit. Yeah, no, Texas might actually be one of the last places to legalize recreational weed. I'm just letting you know right now.
They don't even have fucking medical.
Nope.
Fucking Louisiana had medical.
Yep. Louisiana has medical. Louisiana has functionally decriminalized up to, what was it, like an ounce of weed or something, or half ounce of weed. So if you're caught with a half ounce or less of weed, you know, it's just a fucking ticket. You don't get fucking, it's not a misdemeanor or a whatever the fuck. That's where California was for like 10, 15 years. Decriminalized weed. So, but they're like 10, 15 years behind California. So if you think about that, Louisiana is 10, 15 years behind California. That makes Texas 20, 30 years behind California. Because they don't have any of that. No decriminalization, no fucking nothing.
Definitely look at Arizona.
And we can look around some different fucking options and shit, but I don't know, babe. I don't know. I just feel very fucking... I really have this desire to be out away from people as much as fucking possible, so that my life does not intersect with theirs unless I want it to. Because I'm just sick of dealing with people's bullshit. Sick of being in an area that's like prone to fucking wildfires and shit, and having people setting off fucking illegal fireworks right on my front porch. That happened all July 4th. I've got these big giant flammable fucking eucalyptus trees back here, and these dumb empty-headed fucking morons that live around here are literally out in the street right in front of my house blowing off fireworks and shit. I don't want to deal with people's shit. I don't want to burn my house down because somebody's too stupid. If my house burns down, I want it to be negligence or an accident on my part. I don't want it to be somebody else's stupidity because they had to fire off a firework. I don't want to get domed by a bullet. People around here fire their guns off in the air and shit constantly. What goes up? Am I wrong? You fire a gun in the air and what happens? A parabolic arc, right? Right? My landlords are pretty cool. I'll be honest with you. They're not the best, but whatever. I've had worse people. I've dealt with landlords and stuff before, and to be quite honest with you, my landlords could be way worse. They're just old people. You know what I mean? They don't really know how to deal with things, but they're doing their best. And they haven't like fucked us over really super hard ever. So that's good. Oh, you meant back when the house was nearly burnt down. Oh, yeah. You're talking about that landlord. That's a different landlord. Paul, if they were to redo the Sweeney Todd movie, make it more serious this time, they wanted to give you a part in it, who would you want to be? I don't know that I have the talent, to be honest with you, to be anybody in that. That's the point. I don't really, there's not a primary role in that I would cast myself in, honestly. Because I know my vocal limitations. I know I cannot sing those parts. Even Beetle Bumford, who would be a really fun, supporting role, I think, for me. That's the first role that came to mind. No. Pirelli, couldn't do it. Definitely couldn't do Sweeney. I might have the look for Sweeney. I might be able to, cut the type of figure that Sweeney Todd needs to cut, but I cannot sing that part. So... I know my own limitations as a performer, and I'm not a trained vocalist. I am a trained vocalist, but I'm not a an ongoing upkept vocalist. I have good pitch, but I don't have good range. So I just don't have it. You know what I mean? There's a certain type of person that it takes to play one of those roles. You've got to be incredibly talented, both in the things that I think I could pull off, like the non-singing shit in Sweeney. I think you could put me in a number of roles if it wasn't a singing movie, right? If it wasn't a movie built around these big bombastic Baroque pieces of musical theater. I think there's a number of roles I could play in Sweeney. I think I've got the chops on the acting side, but on the vocalist side, just not enough. Just not enough range, not enough clarity, not enough power to my voice. You have to really, to understand this, go and listen to the original London cast. You can find it on YouTube for free. There's a number of recordings from the original London Sweeney Todd cast and from the subsequent casts that have come along. One of them actually includes Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Lovitz, which is she's pretty good. She's not the greatest vocalist though. She has a real hard time with the Mrs. Lovitz is, in my opinion, one of the hardest female musical theater roles to play and to sing. Absolutely, just super duper duper. Like it requires so much fucking mixture of the performativeness of the accent and all of that, and the singing. It's just very, very, very talented people are needed for that type of show.
Are you better than anyone in the movie version?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have sang Sweeney Todd better than fucking Johnny Depp sang it.
Yeah.
I could have probably cut a better Sweeney than Johnny Depp cut. Yeah. But that's not saying much. They stepped down a lot of Sweeney's fucking like they would take it down an octave or whatever so that it wasn't out of Johnny's range. They did a lot of post-processing on Johnny's voice and shit. Probably some fucking auto-tune and shit like that to keep everything crisp. They probably wouldn't have needed to have to do that much with me, especially if they were willing to step it down an octave and make it singable for me. I think I probably could have done a better job than that. But it still would have been a half-assed Sweeney Todd. So I wouldn't want to do that.
He needs to stick to playing his guitar with Marilyn Manson.
I don't know. I just don't think Johnny, like, that's the thing. Handing that property over to Tim Burton seemed, like, to me, on the face of it, seems like, oh, wow, great idea. The guy's got a really good, creepy kind of aesthetic. I like it. But letting him just fucking throw people that can't sing in those roles, unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess that should have been guessed. Is like, if it's going to be a Tim Burton movie, it's obviously going to have Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp in it.
They already have the characters lip syncing in the scenes to their own vocalizations. Why didn't they just hire actual singers to sing and let them lip sync to it? Like, that's what they used to do back in the old days.
Yeah, or they didn't have anything synced up.
Right. Back in the old days, if there was like a song that needed to be sung by a character that couldn't carry it, they didn't have that character go get in the fucking sound booth and record a screechy version of it and then spend a bunch of money to digitally clean it up and make it half passable. They just got a real singer to come in and do the singing parts. Like, that alone would completely and utterly change the face of that movie for me. I would still have some problems with it. Like, for example, the main two characters, played by Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, they're not old enough. They're not grizzled enough to be the characters they're supposed to be. Mrs. Lovitz is supposed to be an old woman. Sweeney Todd is supposed to be a man that spent fucking years in isolation in prison. He's supposed to be a big, imposing presence. Not a fucking elf. And that's what both of those people remind me of. Elves. They're wood elves. He hired two wood elves to play these very, very specific character archetypes that they don't fit into. You know, you would need to make Johnny Depp not look like a wispy ninja type. You'd need to make him look big and imposing, which would mean, you know what I mean? You would need to hire somebody else or put his head on another body digitally or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you know the first thing about Sweeney Todd, it's that. Go look at the people that have played Sweeney Todd. They look like me. They're 6 foot, kind of chunky, big dudes that could, in your mind, if you look at them, hold a guy down and slit his throat. You know what I mean? And if something he got in a fight with a guy, a guy saw what he was about to do and he tried to, he could win because that happens in Sweeney Todd. He's got to be powerful enough to overpower these other men that come to him, hold their heads back, and you know what I mean? Slit their throats, heft their bodies down the hole, and all that shit. Like, he's not this wispy fucking Elrond elf-looking motherfucker.
Let's see how tall Johnny Depp even is.
Johnny Depp has got, I'm going to take a guess.
Yeah.
5'6", 5'7", max.
5'10".
Nope. Wrong.
Yeah.
Not 5'10". Sorry, he's not. He's just not. I don't believe these fucking celebrity height things.
Yeah.
I think celebrities tell people they're taller than they are, obviously. There's no motherfucking way that Johnny Depp is 5'10". No way. I've seen him standing next to other actors. I've seen him take pictures with other actors. Look at him standing near Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is 6 feet tall. Marilyn Manson is a head taller than Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp is only 3 inches shorter than him. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they don't look that different in that picture. But he could be wearing heels.
I mean, I don't know. There's okay, so Marilyn Manson 6 feet tall, Johnny Depp 5'10". I don't think so, bro. I don't think so.
Maybe 5'8" or something.
I think he's closer to what I said, 5'7", 5'6", 5'8", somewhere around there. I don't think so. I don't think that's 5'10". But then again, he and Marilyn could both be wearing giant platform boots.
Yeah.
Or one or the other one. So it's hard to tell.
There's the other one that does make it look a little bit more.
Yeah, look at this. They're standing shoulder to shoulder. Marilyn is huge, and Johnny is a little soy boy. Marilyn has, like, not only, like, can you tell he's a tall guy, but he's got the body structure of somebody who's taller. Because as it turns out, when people are taller, they're bigger.
His head's bigger, for sure.
His head is bigger. His shoulders are broader. Johnny Depp looks like a fucking tween standing next to him. There's no way he's 5'10". I call horse pucky on that. Give me a measuring tape.
Oh, this one's really, like...
Yeah. See, here we go. Now you're looking at it. Shoulder to shoulder right here. That's the same picture, isn't it?
Or it might be a different pose from it.
Yeah, it's probably just a different angle, but yeah. It's the same, like, event that they went to together, for sure. I don't believe it. I don't buy that shit. But whatever. I'm still on Johnny Depp's side on the Amber Heard thing. I still support Johnny. Hashtag free Johnny.
He's just not Sweeney Todd. That's all.
He's not Sweeney Todd, yeah. And he's also not fucking Willy Wonka either. You know, he's taken some bad roles. He's done some shitty movies, and he's gotten to be his, like, fucking persona or whatever, being locked in with Tim Burton has kind of ruined him.
How do you feel about him in Dark Shadows, or you didn't see it?
I've seen parts of it, but I haven't seen the whole movie, so I can't really comment.
It's supposed to be a vampire.
Yeah, I know.
It's a very campy movie, so.
Right. A lot of those. Is it Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Dark Shadows is a Tim Burton movie? Yeah. Well, he does this horror, like this over-the-top cartoonish camp horror. Mm-hmm. That's the way he kind of produces everything. It's got a very spooky,
Dark Shadows
but
is just extra camp.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen Edward? You've seen Edward Scissorhands before? That movie is ultra camp. Mm-hmm. It's just super duper ultra dodeca camp. I've seen Benny and June, yes. Not for a long time. I watched it back when it was a newer movie in the 90s. But I have seen it, yeah. He was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape as well. He was
Yeah.
Gilbert Grape. He just got kind of overshadowed by Leo in that movie. Leo's big screen debut, by the way, or at least his headlining debut. I think he might have been in films before that, but that was his big breakout role
I've seen that for sure.
as Gilbert Grape's mentally challenged brother. Went full R word. It worked for him. It worked for him, you know. I guess that there's an exception to every rule, and I tend to agree. I tend to agree with what's his name in that movie, Lazarus. He has that argument with the guy. He's like, "Well, what about Tom Hanks? Forrest Gump? No, you know, acts retarded, thinks retarded, but he's not retarded. Not fully retarded. He can still do things. War hero, football player. You know what I mean?
Tennis champion.
Yeah, ping pong champion.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
ping pong, yeah.
he can do stuff, man. Not fully retarded.
Shrimp magnet.
Yeah.
Apple investor.
Yep. Meter of like 3 different presidents. You gonna play D2? Probably, yeah. When it drops.
I saw a picture of Robert Downey Jr. and Johnny.
I picture of Johnny standing with Robert Downey Jr. Robert is 5'9", and he was slightly shorter than Robert, so I pinned Johnny at 5'8". I think I'm right. I think Johnny is 5'7". As the measuring tape goes, I think if we measured him right now, he'd be 5'7", standing flat-footed. Period. I don't buy it.
There really are a surprising amount of short actors nowadays. Like, I think in like the older era of movies, they just wanted every man to be giant. But
Well, there was less, like, cinema hadn't developed to the point where a lot of the camera trickery and shit that
yeah,
they can
you
do
can
now.
make people look tall.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like you have to compose the shot around it, put the person literally on a platform, and have other people stand below them if you want to make them look bigger. But back in the day, there were so many of these wide shots where the
Yeah.
actor had to run and be next to other people and stuff. They just, they needed that very robust, tall, masculine form, and that was what, all of the actors in the past, or most of them anyway, with a few exceptions, kind of cut that same jib. Nowadays, they don't need to. Yeah, Gimli is the tallest person. That's an interesting fact that I remember. You're right. Gimli, the dwarf from fucking Lord of the Rings, is the tallest person on the cast. John Rhys Davies. He's huge. He's like 6'5" or some shit. But in that movie, he literally comes up to everybody's belly button except the hobbits. So I don't know if he's 6'5", but John Rhys Davies is a big dude. How did they do that anyway? Camera trickery, doubles. So a lot of the times when you see Gimli, you see him from the side or whatever, and it's a body double, and they've just dubbed John Rhys Davies' voice into the scene. They shoot him standing in a hole. I remember seeing pictures of that where it's just like when they're shooting some of the Gimli scenes and they've got him standing with everybody, and it's waist up or whatever. He's down. Like they make him in a little hole. So it looks like he's short. And then some of it was just, digital shit. Where they would digitally shrink his model. That's how they did the Hobbits as well. They shot the Hobbits, they shot a lot of the movie in front of green screen and shit, and then they would shrink down the Hobbits and put them back into the scene. I guess with Gandalf and Frodo, they did an optical illusion. That was impressive to learn. Yeah, they used a number of optical illusions throughout the filming of it. So in-camera perspective tricks, practical effects, and computer graphics all together. to make a seamless world where these people are tiny, these people are big. Really, really interesting. Something you don't even think about watching the movies because it's so seamlessly done. Yeah, John Rhys Davies is huge. You want proof that John Rhys Davies is huge? Go look at his turn in the original fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark. John Rhys Davies plays Sala in all of those, actually. He plays Sala in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's not in Temple of Doom, but he's in The Last Crusade. He fucking towers over Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford, who isn't like tiny himself. I don't know how tall Harrison is, but he's not like a short dude. I know that much. And John Rhys Davies is like, "Brr." You ever seen the 1933 French stop motion, The Mascot? I have not. It sounds interesting though. I like watching old stop motion, old silent cinema and shit.
I mean, the internet's claiming they're the same height.
Well,
Rhys Davies and Harrison Ford, but again,
once again, you never fucking know. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, he looks imposingly large standing next to Indiana Jones in those movies. Like, not like he doesn't dwarf him, but he looks like head and shoulders broader. You know, he's just a big dude. He's a big old guy, and they make him a dwarf. Pretty cool.
Dude, maybe we should do that. Fucking line them up at the Oscars. Like, before you can win, everyone get up on the height chart.
Yep. You got to stand up against the wall and let us mark you. If you want your Oscar, we're getting an accurate measurement here. To kick your shoes off. No. No stuff in the shoes. There you go. Johnny Depp, 5'6". You must be at least this tall to get an Oscar.
Dude, that'd be fucking crazy.
Yep.
So many lies would be.
Oh God, man, dude, the whole all of Hollywood would be upturned. You'd find out that like 90% of Hollywood are Lilliputians, dude.
You think like Robert De Niro's even shorter than he claims to be?
Probably, maybe. I know that what's his name? Fucking Iron Man. What's his name?
Robert Downey.
Robert Downey is.
Yeah, that's what someone was saying earlier. They looked at him and Johnny Depp together.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is a shorter guy. Not super short, but he's oftentimes dwarfed by the actors that are cast around him, and he looks kind of childlike sometimes. You remember that movie we watched that he was in, Soap Dish, with the big anti-trans fucking reveal? He was like head and shoulders shorter than like all the women in that movie. Yeah. I know they were all in heels.
They cast a trans woman in it, obviously.
No, they cast I can't remember what her name is, but whatever.
Yeah. The point is, she was bigger though.
Right, way bigger. I think they emphasized it in that movie Soap Dish though. They put him in like these suits that looked like they were a size too big for him. I think to emphasize how little he was. He plays a trans serial killer. Who? Downey Jr.? Interesting. Yeah, that movie was fucked up. I did not remember for the life of me what the twist was in that film. And I sat down and watched it with Amelia, and then when it happened, I just felt bad for showing it to her. I was just like, ew. It made me feel gross. It just reminded me of what an environment I grew up in and how that type of shit was like ha funny back then. It does not.
It's a great movie up until that point.
It doesn't need that either. Yeah. Like it really doesn't. And like, but you got to imagine though, if you put it in its time and place, that was a huge fucking reveal in the 90s. Oh my God, it's a dude. You know what I mean? Like that's in the 90s. That was a big giant plot point. Now it just feels wrong. And also, like, it does this thing with trans people that gets done over and over and over again in cinema. You know, even really good movies like Silence of the Lambs portray trans people as socially deviant, tending towards violence towards other people, which is like all of the research done on trans people points the other direction. They're passive in comparison to the average person.
They're victimized way more.
They're they tend to be victimized and not be victimizers way more, you know what I mean, than the average person. And so, like, yeah, fucking Wild Bill in the fucking movie is kind of like intoned that he's a trans person. Billy believes that he's a transsexual, but he isn't. Not really. His true pathology is 1,000 times more savage and violent. So that's intoning that the pathology of being trans is savage and violent, and that Billy is way more savage and violent than your average tranny.
Stupid. What about this person?
What about you learn how to read the fucking science and the studies? What about? You can interpret it that way? Absolutely. I think there's no other way you can interpret it. Wild Bill is a dude that's killing women to make a skin suit so that he can transform himself into a woman. There's a scene where he plays Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus, which is a really good song, by the way, and tucks his dick and balls back and puts lipstick all over himself and poses and shit. He's supposed to be a trans guy. Or at the very least, gender non-conforming individual. And he's also a multiple killer of women. Well, as interesting as that storyline is, that just doesn't happen in the real world. Then you see other movies where it's like, okay, they're not violent, but they're manipulative. They're always trying to catfish somebody into believing that they're somebody else. Which, you know what I mean? That's just saying that that's what trans people are about. That's why the term trap was invented, right? That's why people started calling, I guess, I don't know, even know what you would call them, like passing trans people as traps. Because they're trying to trap you into, ta-da, I've got a dick.
It's like a lose-lose situation. If they don't pass, they're ridiculed. If they do pass, they're seen as manipulated.
And how people decide whether or not somebody passes or not is completely fucking subjective as well. Yeah. There are masculine-looking women and feminine-looking men all over the fucking spectrum that aren't trans, and then you've got trans people. So how do you fucking make that determination? See, that's what it's all about. It's painted as this, like, trans people are trying to trick us with their genitals. But really, what it's rooted in is this psychological obsession with what kind of genitals everybody has. Like, I should be able to look at you and know that you've got a cock. I should be able to look at you and know that you have a vagina. And if I can't, that means you're trying to trick me. And it's just like, what? No. No, bro. Nobody's trying to trick you.
Yeah, I ended up finishing that V for Vendetta thing, and the Wachowski sisters were credited as the Wachowski brothers in that.
They hadn't transitioned yet, yeah. They hadn't come out yet and started their transition yet. So yeah, they were back when the Matrix came out and shit. We called them the Wachowski brothers.
Yeah.
There was Joel and Ethan Wachowski, I think. And yeah, they very openly, I think in the mid 2010s, like 2005, 6 is when they came out and revealed that they were trans.
It is interesting that they're both trans as siblings.
It is interesting, I guess. Maybe not unheard of, but interesting. Probably rare. Are the Wachowskis twins? Because if they're twins, it would make a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
They are twins? Well, then there you go.
Wait, it says Lana was born June 21st, 1965, and Lily was born December 29th, 1967.
So they're not twins. Okay, well, there you go. Well, I think it's more than... I think it's more that some over-masculine men would feel bad about themselves for having thought a particular trans was beautiful, therefore by passing the blame to them, calling them traps. They feel better. Yeah. I mean, but that's a psychological problem with men, not a problem with trans people. You know what I mean? And that's really the problem. The issue is that they're trying to take psychological insecurities of what you call hyper masculine, hyper straight men, which I'm not saying they don't exist. They're out there, whatever. You're trying to take their insecurities and put those insecurities onto trans people and make it a trans person problem. So, what is your answer to that? That every trans woman that hasn't had gender reassignment surgery wear a T-shirt that says "I have a cock"? Would that be how you solve this? How would you protect the delicate feelings of hypermasculine men? Should you make it illegal for a trans person to introduce themselves to another person without saying that they're trans? Should a trans person be forced to introduce themselves by saying, by the way, I may appear as a woman, but I have male genitalia, or I was born biologically male, but went through gender reassignment surgery and now have, you know, transitioned into a woman? Like what? How do you like? That's the question that has no answer.
It's like if you're dating someone, you don't immediately spill your guts on every goddamn little thing.
And nor should you have to.
Yeah.
Part of dating somebody is slowly but surely learning if that person is worthy of knowing things about you.
Yeah.
So it really does. It's a corner that you can't get out of. Protecting masculine men's feelings that's on masculine men. Stealthing, by the way, is the word for what transphobes claim traps are doing. It's saying that you're biologically male or female in social situations to avoid having our gender pried at. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, like, if you're a trans woman, you're going to introduce yourself as a woman, period. And that's that. And it's on the other person to gauge their fucking reaction to that. It's not on you. It's not on a trans person to fucking delicately work their way around everybody's psychological hangups about gender. Never has been. It's also 100% on you if you know, are vibing with you're a straight dude, you're vibing with a beautiful woman, you find out she's trans and that kills it for you, you can walk away.
Just don't fucking be a dick about it.
Yep, just be like, look, sorry, but just not my cup of tea or whatever the fuck. I mean, you can't enforce that either. You can't enforce people's fucking reactions, but you can't pre-enforce some kind of like thing on trans people that skitters around the feelings of some hyper masculine men or whatever the fuck. You just can't do it. It's on them. It's on the men.
Psychologically scarring.
That would be insanely psychologically scarring to most men. What would be psychologically scarring to a man? That you were attracted to femininity? Like that's the thing. That's the problem with this fucking mentality. Is that why should a person's identity be beholden to your fragility? Because if that's true, you're ultra, ultra, ultra fragile, bro. If you would be psychologically scarred by being attracted to what you're attracted to, you're ultra fucking insecure and fragile. And how is that somebody else's goddamn fucking problem? Why should somebody live their life as a lie because you're psychologically fragile? Isn't it on you to work on that fragility?
And maybe if you're so scared of fucking being gay because of that, maybe you should evaluate yourself.
Maybe you should. But there's nothing wrong. Like, I don't understand. You're fucking attracted to a woman. It reaches that point, and she fucking, like it usually happens. Like, look, I'm a trans person. I just want you to know that. You have the option to go like, whoa, okay, well, not interested. Sorry, gotta stop here. That's your fucking choice. Why that would be a psychological scar on you? That's really more about your psychology than the psychology of trans people. You need to deal with that. Because that's fucking ridiculous, bro. Full on ridiculous. Yeah, nice toots. Toot, toot. Just land somewhere, you buzzing motherfucker. Or go over there in my fly trap.
Yeah. It's all nice and freshly filled up now again.
Oh, yeah. You want to know what the truth about it is? Here's what I think. I think that these quote unquote hyper masculine men that we're hypothetically talking about here, I think that a lot of them project that personality because they might have some level of same-sex attraction. And they've been taught that that is weak and gross and against God or whatever the fuck. And so that is what dredging up those feelings in themselves is what makes them have this psychological wound from being attracted to a trans person, and not and had nothing to do with their hyper masculinity. Because if they were hyper masculine, if it really was, hey, I'm just a big masculine dude and I'm not into that, how would that impinge on that? How does that make you a less masculine guy? It wouldn't. You got a little internal insecurity though. Maybe you used to pop boners in the locker room. Maybe every once in a while you look at a little bit of gay porn. Then you feel real fucking guilty about it and shit. And then all of a sudden you find out that somebody that you were interested in is trans. That seems like the type of situation where somebody has a real problem. Because they've invested so much time and energy in projecting this hyper-masculine visage. And that rips a little bit of it away. And they go,
Like, bisexuality still isn't, like, super considered by people. It's like so many people see it as black and white. It's like, oh, you're attracted to one person of the same sex, you're gay.
well, that's how I thought about it.
Yeah.
Even as I went forward and had genuine physical attraction to women as well.
Yeah.
I fought against it in my teen years and in my 20s and denied it all the way up into my fucking late 30s. Because I thought that if I were to indulge that aspect of myself or admit that aspect of myself, it would mean that somehow I would no longer be attracted to women, because bisexuality was just something I didn't fucking understand. I wasn't raised to understand it. Bisexuality was just, that's a gay guy. That's a dude that fucks dudes. That was it. There was no nuance in the way that I was raised. If you messed around with a dude, you were a faggot. And that's that. And so me having these sexual attractions that included men and gender non-conforming people and women, all of that shit, I had to bury most of that.
I don't know. Do you think a lot of these, like maybe even like the gay hypocrites might actually just be bisexual?
I think a lot of them are, yeah. I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are just bisexual dudes. I think there's probably way more bisexual people in the world than the numbers suggest, because it implies somebody has gone through what I went through and come out the other end comfortable saying, yes, I'm a bisexual dude. Well, I like how you really enjoy conversing. I see so many people these days who easily proclaim that so-and-so talks too much, and it's sad and boring the way that so many people are like that. I've been doing it my whole life. Dude, when I'm not doing this, me and Amelia often spend a long amount of time just jabbering at the jaw about things at each other. You know what I mean? We're both conversationalists. We like talking. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I have to try and eat something in the morning before I do these big long shoot days. Got 2 more shooting days. Then I get a little break, and that's going to be really nice. Had kind of a fucking incident yesterday while I was recording an episode. Started to kind of feel the same way I felt during the History of Going Insane episode. Started to have that real lightheaded, panicky kind of thing. I was under the hot lights all day, so that really fucks with my brain. And I was looking at myself a bunch, which is something that I do a lot, and it sucks. I've talked before about how fucked up that is. And so something happened yesterday, like right towards the end of a long recording day. I was closing out one of my fucking mini-sodes, and I just started feeling this like lightheadedness, hyperventilation, anxiety, kind of real wobbly kind of feeling. Becomes hard to think and formulate like coherent thoughts and shit. So I really had to like center myself and just finish it out. I was lucky it really started kicking in the last 10 minutes or so of the episode, you know, so I was able to just kind of push through it. But man, yesterday I was just fucking done. And I really think, honestly, I've just been going too hard. It's just the truth. I've been hitting these streams super hard, like these out here. I've been doing a lot of fucking just recording, a lot of recording. We're in front of the camera a lot to maintain the bank of content that we have. And, you know, we've really been just hitting it hard since LA. LA was a huge expenditure of creative energy and just personal energy for me, DMing a giant game, coming up with that whole fucking thing, and remembering all of it, and doing the performative aspects of it, and all of that shit while keeping the game pace going. It was just a real huge expenditure of energy for me. We come back, I had one day off, and then we're right back in. You know, we're right back into the fucking like boom, 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 shoot, 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 shoot. And it's like, oh fuck. And I'm just feeling it, man. I'm just feeling like I'm on the ragged edge. That tank is low. You know what I mean? I feel better today than I did yesterday. I don't know. A lot of you guys can probably fucking tell. Those of you that are astute observers of Highdeology can probably, you know, get a finger on like where my mental state is as a result of watching me for so long. You can probably tell the last few of these that I've done have been real bad. Not like bad in terms of content, but just like bad for me. I've been in a bad headspace. I feel better today, but that's probably a result of the fact that I slept all day yesterday. As soon as we finished fucking filming, I ordered some food, and I just felt tired. I was just like, my body was limp and weak, and I was just like mentally drained to the point where I couldn't even imagine like giving my attention to anything. And so I just went and slept, and I slept all night. And I did get up at a certain point for a couple hours, but I got a lot of sleep yesterday, and I feel way better. Hey, it's me, the audio engineer that did the Christian rock. Guy reaches out to me this morning saying recorded again to proper click after I spent all night time stretching and pitch correcting. Oh my God, boy. Oh boy. You get to do some more Christian rock. What you mean bemoaning humanity for hours on end isn't what you do when you're on cloud nine. I don't know that I ever am on cloud nine. Maybe every once in a fucking blue moon I'll be on what I'd call cloud nine, but this, well, we've taken measures to like make sure that we get some recharge time and shit, but this LA trip kind of interceded in that, right? So we went really super hard going into the LA trip to get everything banked up, then went into the LA trip and went super hard there, then came back, and now we're going super hard to finish out our fucking schedule. So this wouldn't, I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, we could have planned things better, maybe. And I think in the future, when we get together to do future sessions of this type of shit, we'll do that. Yeah, I'm gonna try when we get. I don't know, man. I I don't even want to think about it right now. I'm just not gonna. It's overwhelming to think about it. Right now, I'm in a mode where it's just like I gotta get through the next 2 days. I gotta get through today. I gotta get through tomorrow. I gotta save enough juice in the tank, keep the instrument sharp enough to get through those 2 days. And if I can get through those 2 days, I can rest. I can have a little bit of time, and so that's what I'm pushing for right now. Dude, if the rumbling is soothing to your migraine, you know what you should do? I guarantee you there's like 10 hours of train sounds on YouTube. Just put those on. Get some good headphones and put that on when you're having a migraine, dude. Scrub J. Do you think trans people should be expected to train their voices to pass? I don't think trans people should be expected to pass, periodly. Like I said earlier, like passing is subjective. I don't think a trans person should have to do a goddamn fucking thing that they don't want to do. You want to sound a certain way, train your voice. You don't want to sound a certain way, or you like the way you sound already, stay that way. I Well, I don't know if it's a mistake or not. It's probably good for your brain, but yesterday I was feeling really shitty. And I came out here in the morning, I had my coffee and my cigarette, right? And I put on Guernica, or sorry, Bolero by Ravel. And that's like a 15, 16, 17, I think, minute long song. And it is a song where the melody is coming to get you. Like the melody is literally coming to get you. So it starts off soft, but it just keeps coming and it keeps building and it keeps building. And now it is stuck, lodged in my head. But you got to imagine that's probably a good thing. Go get a profile pic and don't ask impertinent questions. You're going to get a timeout. And then the next time I see you without a profile picture or asking a stupid and pertinent question that you wouldn't ask somebody else because of your anonymity and shit. Don't be asking people about what their meds are and shit. It's just shitty, especially apropos of nothing. So go get a PFP and learn how to conduct yourself in a public setting, or don't type anymore. The rules, they are simple. Yep. Only heard of Bolero because of the show. It's catchy. One movement is very rare in these types of orchestral pieces. Yeah, agreed. Sticks in your head. Crazy how much this chat has changed in the last 3 months. The dude, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of like being dedicated to creating an environment where people can actually have an ongoing conversation with me. And it means getting rid of people who are attention seekers and trolls and disruptors and just too stupid to have a conversation and who don't have enough human interaction to know how a conversation flows and aren't willing to learn it. You just have to fucking at some point draw the line. Because if you go back and look at my fucking Highdeologies and shit, one of the things that bothers me the most about them is that I spend such an inordinate amount of time sometimes arguing with people who are just there to fucking disrupt and ask stupid questions and off-topic shit. And, locking this shit down has made it, a more exclusive environment when it comes to the people who actually chat. But it's also made it a better environment for me because it gives me stuff that I can actually riff off of rather than just stupid, empty-headed questions. You know what I mean? So it's gone from being functionally like a Twitch chat where, there were a few people trying to genuinely engage and have a good time doing it. And then most of the people are just blah, 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 attention-seeking nonsense. Ah, well. What are you going to do? Chat needed a flushing. Huh? What is it? Oatmeal, oatmeal. Yeah, I think one of the problems yesterday was that I didn't eat all day. And we had a really long shooting day. And I just went, and didn't eat anything.
No, there might have been an earthquake too. I don't know.
Kind of felt like there was, but it's hard to tell. Hey Paul, what you said last stream really resonated with me. I try to fall back onto stoicism, but when the world is a horrific meat grinder and you're contributing to it, joy turns to ash real quick. Yep. Yeah, I don't eat breakfast hardly ever. I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to like this morning, I'm gonna end this shit. I'm gonna go and eat a bowl of oatmeal, even though I don't feel like eating a fucking thing, so that, you know, by midday and shit, when I'm into the shooting, I'm not fucking hungry as fuck, and that contributes to the anxiety and shit. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
There's definitely some days I eat more than you.
Yeah. I mean, there's some days where I just, like, if I was left to my own devices, I just wouldn't eat at all. Like, I just don't feel like eating. Yeah. Coffee does help with the hunger. Like, it does stimulate, like, anti-hunger responses, and I am pretty known for drinking at least a cup of coffee in the morning. So that probably has something to do with it. Anyway, I'm going to end this, go eat my oatmeal.